Um, so I first found out about zines when I read this one, The First
Okay.
Rule of Punk. Have you read this?
I have not read that one.
This is a super cool book. The young girl, her parents split up, and she grew up in California, but her and her mom moved to Wisconsin, Michigan, somewhere in that area. And she is like the only Hispanic kid in her school now. And she uses zines a lot as a way to talk about the stuff that's going on, what's important to her. She does some collage stuff with them. And I just thought this was the coolest thing when I first read this book. And the whole book is excellent. It is a middle grades book. So for folks who are into that, that is an awesome book. So I was thinking it would be totally cool if we made zines.
Absolutely. I think like the thing that's most appealing to me about zines is that you have to have something to write with and something to write on, and that's pretty much it. It can be as complex or as simple as you want to make it. So I mean, zines are for everybody, you know?
Yeah. This one, Moxie, is a young adult fiction. It's a young lady in Texas, I believe, small town Texas. And she experiences the struggles that you have in small towns.
Sure.
And she basically like starts a revolution in her high school.
Nice.
Like to get girls more respect so that like people stop saying inappropriate things to them. And like I thought that was really super cool. And the first one starts out and it is literally just a 4-page thing. Like she took a piece of paper and folded it in half and made a zine, and then like you just photocopy them, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right,
like,
yeah.
So like if you wanted to distribute them, you just run photocopies.
Right.
And so she started off that way, and I was like, this is really cool. And then I started doing some research, and some of them get like really detailed.
Oh, yeah. I've been collecting zines for a while. Some of them are printed on like glossy, cardstock, super professional. Some of them have like screen printed covers.
Oh yeah, okay.
On them. There's a printing process called risograph that's kind of like a mix between screen printing but on a copy machine.
Yeah.
And a lot of zines have covers or even the pages are risograph printed. But then again, I mean, you've got a billion zines that are just printed on a copy machine and distributed.
Yeah, I really liked this one. This is the origami. It makes like a little booklet thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same way that I did this one. But this one's cool because it has all the little instructions. But one thing I saw was you could totally take this backside and make it a poster.
Oh yeah.
Like I was like, that would be a cool idea. But you just take a piece of paper and do some origami folding.
Yeah.
And make it a thing.
And you got a tiny zine.
Yeah. That's super cool.
These, I especially also like these that like you could fit these in your pocket. Like you could have you and all your friends, you have like 15 people that all make zines, and like your whole zine library
is just stuffed in your pocket.
Right, yeah. Or like your wallet or whatever, and like so easy and like quick to distribute.
Yeah. I heard somebody, I think I watched a YouTube video about it, he was saying that as an artist, people would ask what he did, and it's not really very descriptive to say, well, I'm an artist.
Sure. Because
what's an artist means so many different things, that he made little zines like this, so he could just show people, well, here's what I do. And that's a really cool way, like if you're going to promote a business, or if you're, an artist, or maybe you do landscaping and you have pictures of, the landscaping that you did, and you can just go, here's what we do. Like, that's a great idea.
It's memorable and makes you stand out to people. Yeah.
one of the questions I had, and I was having trouble sort of thinking about how to articulate this, is what's the difference between like a zine and a pamphlet?
I don't know. I think that like they are both informational, but I think that a zine is more from a personal, informational perspective, rather than like a corporate.
Yeah. Whenever I think of pamphlets, I always think of somebody trying to persuade you to do
Right,
something.
yeah.
Whereas zines feel like, here's this cool thing I thought you might be interested in.
Right, yeah.
Um,
One of the first zines that I discovered and started collecting was a woman who was a fisherman in Alaska, like on a
Oh, cool.
fishing boat.
Yeah.
It was called like Extra Tough. And it was just like her personal updated autobiography basically on what it was like to be a fisherwoman, you know, with all these like, you know, rough, tough guys or
Yeah.
whatever, you know, and that like how they accepted her and, you know, like she became part of their group or whatever.
Sort of like the idea of a blog
Yeah,
that you don't need the internet or a computer for.
right, exactly.
That's really cool. Alright, so I have some random pieces of paper. This one had a cover on it. So I did one
Awesome.
where I sewed a seam.
Yeah,
And so I thought that was like really cool. Like if you were going to give this, like when I was a kid, and even when my kids were little, one of the best gifts that you can give parents is something that you made.
yeah,
I mean, and like, I have a feeling like even now, if I put together a zine of stuff and sent it to my mom, she would think that was the coolest thing, and
Totally.
she would keep it forever.
yeah.
So I got some cardboard in case we wanted to, well, cardstock in case we wanted to do that,
Yeah,
and some paper. And here's the little thread that I used earlier.
yeah,
We have scissors right there. We have pens. But literally just the stuff that you have is
Yeah.
you can make a zine.
So like I said, I'm really a really big fan of this kind, so I think I'm gonna try making it.
Okay?
So you fold it in half, then fold it in half again. And then fold it this way.
Okay, looks right. Looks like the right size.
Alright, and then you open this up, and from your like folded edge, you cut inward just to your next fold. Alright, and then flip it around this way and push it in. All
Boom! Zine.
done. So now my zine is ready for me to start creating. There's this zine called You that nobody really knows. I mean, to my knowledge, nobody knows who really makes it, or
Okay.
if, like a bunch of people make it. But it's generally like a letter or like a page of script. It could be like a diary entry, a letter to someone, just random thoughts, whatever, in like a paper bag, and then it's just like just put out there, and it's just like stamped You on the front, so nobody knows where it came from, who made it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like you could really open up yourself to really share whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
One of the things that I really liked, and I don't know if it's just like when I grew up or who I am, but one of the things that I kept hearing over and over and over again is that zines have been a way to sort of underground, grassroots, organize and connect people. And I thought that it was super cool that you could take a little piece of paper and fold it up and write some stuff on it and build community.
Yeah, totally. You can find people that are into, maybe they're into this like really weird interest that you thought you were the only one in the world that liked that thing, or maybe you feel disconnected because of your diversity or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, and so you're able to communicate your feelings and either find someone who has similar struggles, or someone that maybe hasn't had those struggles, but they're able to understand
Yeah.
and see into your world. You
Yeah,
know?
that's really cool. Like in Moxie, she starts off and it's just this, basically a piece of paper, and there's something about like if you're tired of this stuff that's going on, like draw hearts and stars on your hands, and then we'll be able to find the girls who think like us.
Yeah.
And like they totally build this community and like make changes in their school
That's amazing.
because, somebody shared a thought on a piece of paper.
Yeah. Definitely.
Super cool. Did you want to share it?
I just started off by making this kind of just random doodle drawing on the front, just to kind of catch people's eyes, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a little story. I used to think I wasn't human. I didn't know where I came from, but it wasn't from here. There's a picture of the
I totally love the Earth. I know it's Earth, even though none of it's, it's not perfect,
Yeah.
but I totally know it's Earth.
Awesome. It turned out I was human. I was just different, and that was a good thing. But then when I was 10, I fell and scraped my knee. And I tried to draw a scraped knee, but because I chose to draw on this giant red marker.
Yeah.
I don't know that it really translated, but I mean the words are there, so
Yeah.
I think you get the idea.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a big deal, except my blood was actually oil.
Oh, wow.
So
That's,
plot twist.
yeah. So I had this idea of
Yeah.
a little poetry zine, and I was like, okay, so my poetry zine. Then I was like, you know what? No, I really like the idea of collaboration.
Yeah.
So I wrote this little free verse thing. Hey, I have something to say. My voice matters, and yours does too. If someone were listening, what would you say? And then the idea was, let's start a poetry zine. Write
Yeah.
your thoughts. So then I was like, so the next person could write something, and then eventually we would fill up one, and then we could start another one.
Yeah.
And one we started the other day was sort of library doodles.
Nice.
So if people want to just doodle in the library doodle zine, I thought that would be super cool.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, and it's so awesome that you work together to make something with someone that maybe is someone that you'll know for the rest of your life because you did this, but maybe you'll never see them again for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, and it could be that it's somebody that you didn't know very well.
Right.
And then you do stuff like this together and you're like, wow, we actually have a lot in common, even
Yeah.
though maybe we didn't know we did.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So that's pretty awesome.
Such a great way to build community.
I love it.
I would say to really seek out zines and make zines and encourage your friends to make zines and just create a zine culture wherever you are.